Now back on the earnings front, and we're watching a tech turnaround. We've had results from Alcatel-Lucent, France's largest telecommunications equipment maker. But before we give you the figures, a little bit of context. Well, the business was created 5 years ago when the French and American phone equipment makers merged, but it's been mainly losing money since. Customers were unhappy and efforts to restructure did not improve sales. But the company's fortunes started to change 3 years ago when it appointed a new CEO. Now Alcatel-Lucent is signing billion-dollar contracts and gaining market share. The company's stock has also jumped this year. So let's see how its revival has continued. Well, Poppy Trowbridge has the numbers. Poppy, they've narrowed their loss.
They have narrowed their loss by a massive amount. Analysts that we surveyed were expecting Alcatel-Lucent to make a loss of 144 million euros in the quarter. They made a loss of 10 million euros, significantly narrowing their loss, but a loss nonetheless. The other number that stuck out for me, looking through the results this morning, was that sales were up 15% across the board. That's a similar momentum to what was happening in the fourth quarter of last year. And that fourth quarter was the first time we really started to see this giant barge turn around and go in the right direction. So momentum there, and sales specifically in North America up 40%. Very good news.
Poppy, thank you so much. And of course, so now let's go to will Alcatel-Lucent be able to keep that momentum going? Well, let's ask the company's Chief Financial Officer, Paul Tufano. He joins me live now from Paris. Thank you so much for joining us today. In terms of what we saw, we're seeing a pretty nice turnaround. Now, is this going to be the end of the losses for Alcatel-Lucent? And can you tell me, honestly, that you believe the full turnaround is now in place?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. We're very pleased with the results of this first quarter. And it's continuing the momentum we have in the company. As we've said in our press statement, we're reaffirming our guidance to grow greater than or equal to the industry and to have an adjusted operating profit of 5% or better. So we believe that we are being the beneficiary of not only the market conditions that are going around the world with regard to the explosion of data traffic and video, but more importantly, the relevance of our product set in solving customers' problems.
So you believe that we are in a growth phase now? There's no risk of a double-dip recession, and Alcatel-Lucent will continue to bank on this and grow its revenue?
Well, I think that we see very good, strong market underpinnings, and more importantly, we have extremely strong customer relationships around the world. Obviously, we had great growth in North America at 40%. We had very strong growth in China. We had very strong growth in Latin America, and we had strong growth in Russia. So I think that we are going to benefit from global trends given the product set as well as our position with customers around the world.
Are you looking at disposing of any assets either through an IPO or actually selling some of them off?
You know, over the course of the last several years, we've done some divestitures in a number of smaller businesses. We always look at our portfolio. But there's nothing right now that I can talk about.
Not even your enterprise telecommunications assets? I know there's been speculation that this would be the first one to either be divested or to go public.
Well, there's been a lot of rumors on that business. We really can't talk about or comment on those rumors. But I will tell you this. That's a business that's growing. It grew 6% this quarter. We're investing in it, and we believe it has a significant future.
Now, talk to me a little bit about what you see the company becoming in 2-3 years from now. We've heard from your CEO saying he wants this to be a normal company. Does that mean that you just want your brand to be recognized like other telecommunication equipment makers?
Well, I think that, you know, there's a lot that's tied up with the normal company that Ben talks about. I mean, number one, it's having increased relevance with our customers and being able to help them solve their business problems. I think we've made great traction on that front over the last 24 months. We'll continue to extend that in the future, and our goal is to be the preeminent partner for our customers going forward to help them in a variety of ways. Now, secondly, it's about improving our returnings.
You talk about, of course, this current momentum and the strength in the market continuing. Is there something that concerns you? A lot of the CEOs on this week have told me that inflation is their #1 concern. Are you hedged against inflation, and does this keep you awake at night?
Well, obviously, inflation will have impact around the world. But I think, you know, if you look at the markets we serve, and especially look at consumers' desire to have rich video any place, anywhere, I think the discretionary spending on that type of products, smartphones and internet service, probably will withstand with inflationary pressures.
Is this your biggest concern, or are there supply chain demands that concern you more?
Well, in the supply chain, we are having some difficulties given the Japan situation, but I'll tell you that our operations teams have done an excellent job of mitigating a lot of that. They're working with our suppliers in a very proactive way, and we're seeing good progress with regard to addressing these issues.
Paul Tufano, thank you so much for speaking to us today. That was the Chief Financial Officer of Alcatel-Lucent.